into that shit.
Let's get into that, man. Shit. There you go. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem HaKakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, the great millstone that taught us this truth. All right, this is the GMS Dallas camp. You know, I'm the brother of Rock. My YouTube page is GMS Long Suffering 7. All right, and then, you know.
Yep, I'm Nod, GMS, stay humble.
Azariah, furnace of adversary.
Yep. And we're here, you know, through the Spirit, another camp, another lesson, right? Doing what the Lord commanded us to do, you know, standing upon our watch, all right? And as we were touching on, all right, you should always be in the spirit of hastening the downfall of America, man. As soon as you come into this truth, even before you come into this truth, man, you know?
Well, before you come into the truth, you want this place to continue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why you go from being disobedient, right, to the Lord. In the world, you disobedient to the Lord. Then when you come out of the world, then you become obedient.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But certain jakes that's not fully in the truth, I know what you mean. They're like, man, they still like, but those are the ones that's catching hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Only the ones that's catching hell really, you know, are looking for a way out.
Yeah.
But the jakes that's enjoying themselves and that diddler spirit, they don't want this mug to end. They don't want, you know?
All right, now that's it. You know, we're in the spirit of hastening the destruction of Babylon the Great. This place has done nothing, all right, but corrupt, you know, corrupt everything, man. Corrupt everything under the rulership of Esau, Edom, man. As we go into week in and week out, this week is no different. We're going to continue to push that, man.
This is James. Okay, James chapter 5, verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for the miseries that shall come upon you.
Yep.
Okay, talking about the Israelites that basked in their possessions. They only cared about the physical, whether it's the fame, okay, or the money that they had, right? Their riches. It says, verse 2, your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. You see? Because the only thing that you're supposed to be focusing on is that incorruptible crown, not the corruptible. This flesh, okay, is corruptible, man. It's susceptible to being taken away. It's not eternal, okay? Jake's mindset is only on the temporary things. That's what makes you carnal, you see? That's the mindset of these other nations. We have something more special, okay, that makes us different than these other nations. In the middle of verse 3 it says, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and ye shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Yet ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. You see, people think that their money is going to save them from the destruction that's to come. You had Israelites during the siege of Masada and during the siege of Jerusalem, you know, with that mindset of, hey, I mean, you know, we can fend off the Romans, you know what I mean? We got the money, we got the this and that, you know, we good. And you got your ass jacked up. Go ahead, bro.
God, that's it, bro. And you have made an important point. You know, everything we can see, everything we see, the image of the beast, right, which is this world system, this you know, the Western world, right, and the way of life that it, you know, provides, the laws, okay, the systems that govern our everyday lives, man. Everything we see in front of us is getting ready to go out the window. Everything we see in front of us is about to die, man. And that's why, like the brother said, you know, even back then, all right, before 70 AD, you know, as the brother said, you know, Jake was thinking that they could stop the will of the Lord. It was already determined by the Most High that Jerusalem was going to be trodden down, man. And it's the same thing with Babylon the Great. There's an expiration date on Babylon the Great, man. You got that, Joel 14? Let's get that real quick.
This is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5, and it reads, seeing his days are determined.
Seeing his days are determined. All right? Meaning that this rulership, this current rulership of Esau Edom, right, pursuing the Genesis 27, all right, he was given the fatness of the earth. You know, that particular blessing has been fulfilled, all right, through the establishing of America, Babylon the Great, all right, but also his global enterprise. You know, because we know he has control of the pretty much the entire planet Earth. All right, NATO and the EU. All right, so whether it's direct or whether it's indirect, Esau Edom is controlling the show. You know, the monetary system, the banks, right? All these countries are operating with a fiat monetary system. Okay, that lets you know who's in charge, man. They wearing suits and fucking ties at the UN assembly. All right, what happened to their traditional guard, man? What happened to all these other nations? You know, they didn't always come up wearing fucking suit and ties, man. But that shows you everybody's at this point, everybody has bowed the knee, man. But guess what? Babylon the Great is getting ready to fall, man. And that's what we out here pushing. Is it more on there?
The number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, man. There's a force that, you know, like you got a force field, right? You playing the game, right? And there's just certain parts of the game you'll never be able to access. It don't matter how many points you get. It don't matter how much XP, all right, you build up. It was just built into the game that you can't go in that particular location.
Yeah, like past the Van Allen belt. You know, to other planets. That's what Esau think. He'll have you think, yeah, we went to the moon. It was cool. That was like 50 years ago, though. It wasn't really much up there, so we stopped going. You know, and you got people really thinking that, right? But ultimately, they all swindled, man. That's why when Esau presents the sea hip, again, in order to take it, you gotta have already be drunken with that Babylon juice. You gotta already accept the image of the beast, which is you gotta believe that the NWO is gonna come to pass, and that basically by partaking in this, you're yielding to that authority. You see? And I don't know if you have more on that, but I had a precept.
Is that it?
All right. This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 35. Okay? And these are the words of Nebuchadnezzar after the Lord healed him from his animalistic mindset that he had, you know, when he was out there, I think it was 7 years, right? When he was driven from men and he's, you know, started bugging out, acting like an animal because the Lord, because he was proud. Basically, he thought that, you know, he was untouchable and that he was God, right? So the Lord's like, look, nigga, you're just a man. Watch this, right? And then the Lord, you know, let him come to his senses years later. and then he's like, oh shit, right? So this is Daniel chapter 4, verse 35. It says, all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. Now, keep in mind, this is Nebuchadnezzar saying this. This is the man that had the most power on the earth at that time. Well, after the Lord took it away from him for that time, he gave it back to him. You know what I'm saying? So he had the most power on the earth. Then he realized, oh shit, like, hold on, I'm just a worm, right? It says, Daniel 4:35, and all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? If the Lord is, hey, you know, your seed is gonna get called into the spirit world, or you're gonna be stricken with this, or you know, you're gonna make the wrong turn at work and you're gonna be late, right? You can't, nah, Lord, nah, hell nah. You know what I'm saying? But that's essentially what our people are trying to do by rejecting this word. You know what I'm saying? By not paying attention to prophecy. Oh, it doesn't affect me right now. So what does that have? What is the reason that I need to pay attention to it? What's the reason I need to pay attention to it, right? Basically, they're rejecting the word of the Most High. So what does Scripture say in Hosea 4? Because thou hast rejected me, I will also forget thy children. right? You got it, bro.
Yep. Jake lined up at the about to be lined up at the fucking ballot box,
Oh yeah.
trying to vote their way out of this destruction, man.
Yep.
Not gonna happen. You heard the precept, bro?
Con. There's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse 3. And it reads, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. And it said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
You want to speak on it?
Con, so that's going into Esau, Edom. We know today is known as the self-proclaimed white man.
Right.
He's the one who lived in that, that area of Edom, Mount Petra, that Petra.
Speak up a little bit, bro. Yeah. That on it? Read it again.
Con. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 3.
Yeah.
And it reads, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Right, the pride of thine heart has deceived Esau, Edom. Right? He got his blessing, right? He got the fatness of the earth. He got the blessing of the sword, right? He's been, he has a highly advanced, weapon systems and all these various things, right? He's going around the planet Earth, basically dominating the planet Earth for so long, all right, that he doesn't think that it's possible for him to be removed. But guess what? The Lord wanted it like that. The Lord wants you so damn proud that you don't see what's getting ready to take place. And you're getting lined up through the Spirit. That's why the Lord is rousing up these other nations, right? He's fulfilling, the prophecy in Joel, the 3rd chapter, right? Talking about, multitudes gathered in the valley of decision, the valley of Yahweh Shabbat.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and that ain't even fulfilled yet. I mean, now don't get me wrong. Like, it's been a lot of judgment going out these past, 30, 40 years, you know what I'm saying, out there in the Middle East, you know what I'm saying, with Afghanistan and Iran and these different proxy wars that are fought at various different times. Like out there in Yemen, you got a lot of, crazy shit going on, you know what I'm saying, with the Houthi rebels, they're based out there in Yemen. But they just been gaining power to the point where they starting to affect the global economy. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be some things, because when you look at World War I, right? World War I, I ain't gonna lie, that's a dope ass car, but that shit better not get too fucking loud. You know what I'm saying? When you look at World War I, it was like a powder keg for for destruction. Like the events that led up into World War I. When you look at, since 1919, before the assassination of that dude in Austria-Hungary, it was a whole bunch of other shit that happened. Like you had Prussia, which is the ruling power in Germany, right? Everybody thinks about Germany. Well, really the ones that was in power, okay, in Berlin, that was Prussia, okay? Now, Prussia, the Prussian Empire, and the scriptures talk about this in Revelation, the 9th chapter. It talks about the World War I, right? Where it talks about the German army, you know what I'm saying, with the airplanes, with the the German airplanes, you know what I mean, the different, warfare. I believe that's Revelation 9, where it talks about they had the teeth of lion, but they had the tail like scorpion, something like that. It's like the locust, we'll talk about that. There's Revelation 9. If you want to, but I'm just getting around to the point. You can if you want, but I don't want to veer off the track because that's history. But my point in bringing up World War I, the water, y'all know how long it was doing that. My point in bringing up World War I is because the stage was being set for years up until it finally popped off in World War I. And when people thought when people thought World War I was going to be a quick war, they didn't think that it was going to be 5 years of utter devastation, and that it was going to be the worst, most horrific war that the world had ever seen up until that point. Because prior to that, you had in the 1880s, okay, the war between Germany, which really was Prussia, but Germany, and the Prussian Empire, I'll say, in France, and Germany or the Prussian Empire specifically, utterly crushed France, and they had control of France for a while. You know what I'm saying? And basically, so leading up to that, you had the industrial, multiple industrial revolutions. So you had the industrialization of warfare. So you had machine guns, you had railroads that was able to put the soldiers in place quicker, right? So you had all these things, all these advancements in technology, right? And the scriptures say that. When many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. It says that in Daniel, right? So, and also the scriptures say that this devil, he's gotten wiser than Daniel, right? So he's got to the point where he has all these tools of destruction at his fingertips. And now, fast forward over 100 years later, how much more now? You know what I'm saying? Like this shit, they're trying to hold back the destruction. Like they're not even like all the weapons that they have, bro. They don't even use even a fraction. They only use a small portion of their true, like these nations when they're going to war, they only use a portion of their true firepower, because if they actually went all in, it's like back then, for example, World War I, a nation had to put forth its maximum effort in order to win a war. Meaning its maximum destructive power in order to win a war, right? And all the wars before it. Now, a nation doesn't have to put forth its maximum destructive power. If it does that, the whole world will be destroyed.
Yeah. If I may, there's a term now called nuclear deterrence.
Yeah.
So now, because the weapons have got so devastating, and there's so many of them,
yeah,
that's believed to be a deterrence from war. Mm-hmm. But we know, according to prophecy, all these weapons have been created for a reason. The weapons of the Lord's indignation, man. Not to cut you off, though.
No, that's it. So, but my point in saying all of that was to say that we're in their powder keg times again, and stuff's loaded up. It's just going on in the Middle East. That's why these scoffers that talk about, how we don't know what we're talking about, right? But look at the prophecy that's going on. The stuff is shaking in the Middle East, man. You see, in World War I and II already, that was already talked about in the scriptures.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now when you go to Revelation, is it 9? Which one was it?
It was 9.
It was where it talked about World War I?
Yeah.
And then when you go to Revelation 11, it talk about those trumpets, right? The third trump. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Yeah. No, not 11. Where they prepare themselves to sound. Okay, it's not. Let me see.
Third trump is in 8, 10.
Maybe is it 7? Hold on. Yeah. No, that's not it either. Okay. Yeah, 8. My bad. Revelation the 8th chapter. Revelation the 8th chapter. Okay, that's when it goes into those, those angels preparing themselves to sound. Those are the times that we're in right now. But Yahushua is getting ready to come back. Okay, because at the last trump, it talks about the last trump. That's when everything is gonna climax. Okay, everybody gonna be fighting, and then in the middle of all that, right? But you're gonna have the MOTB, right, out, made mandatory, and then after all that stuff's going on, in the middle of all the action, MOTB made mandatory, the nation's over there fighting, full blown fighting, right? Then Yahushua gonna come back. You see, so it's all in the prophecy. Revelation 8 chapter talks about that. But John Brothers got it.
Yep. No, that's a there's a lot of important points, but a specific point that you made, just going into the advancement of technology, the advancement of weaponry.
Yep.
Because I was actually talking to one of the security guys in my job, and he was a former Afghan. He had been to war in Afghanistan. He was a military vet. And he was going into how warfare has been industrialized to the point to where you got people that can make very, very, very devastating weaponry for basically nothing, for real cheap. And that's the problem that they're having over there in Ukraine, over there in the Middle East. You got people manufacturing drones for the low. you know, for almost no money, you know. And not only is it cheap, but these things are readily easy to develop, to make, to put together, man. So what the hell you think gonna happen right here in Babylon the Great? Everybody got weapons, everybody got a gun, right? All these various things, all that stuff has been prepared for now, man. Because guess what? The worst time in human history is coming to the planet Earth, man. And America is the main stage, man. I got this.
Daniel 12:4, it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." You see? So that's the times that we're in. See, what time was the book of Daniel written in? Well, it was really written in two, you could say two empires, right? The Babylonian Empire, and then the latter end was the Medo-Persian, right? But it says from that time up until the end, right? It says many shall run to and fro, meaning people are going to be going here and there. They're going to be figuring out, because what's the scripture say? Hardly do we guess it right. You know what I'm saying? Like basically like trial and error. Think about how many times it took, you know, your boy to get the light bulb right. You know what I'm saying? How many cars had to be made in order to get the cars that we have now? The cell phone, the first iPhone compared to now we got iPhone 16, right? So shit had to get right explored first before the technology of how to blow up a whole city in 0.2 seconds. You know what I mean? Came to pass. Now we're in those times now. So now those seals being open, now we have to understand it. And we gotta see like, okay, the only way out of this is we just gotta pray to the Lord. You know?
You got anything, bro?
I'll get that Isaiah. It's Isaiah chapter 9, and verse 5. And it reads, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise."
Right, war in the ancient world, right? You know, phalanxes, right, which is basically a long spear that the Greeks used.
Yeah.
Right, swords, shields, bucklers, horses, carriages, all that, man. All that has highly evolved, man. You got it, bro.
And garments rolled in blood.
Yep.
But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
There shall be with burning and a fuel of fire, right? Going into the missiles, man. Going into the development of this military technology. It's easier to destroy more people now, you know. But even on a not only do you have, you know, the weapons, you know, increasing, you got more people with the weapons, but then you got the mentality of the people decreasing. You got the actual, you know, people are bugged the hell out. You got a bunch of sickos, right, moles, with access to all this weaponry, man. You know, so again, man, the point, you know, we're just making the point of buckle up your seatbelts, man, get ready. You know, and if you're of the elect, you got to realize that it's all spiritual. The only way we're going to get out of here is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You can't, matter of fact, let's get Psalms 44, the spirit's kind of switching it up. We're not going to be able to deliver ourselves, man. You ain't going to be able to fight your way out of this thing, man. You know, now you should be prepared, all right, to do everything you need to do to endure to the end if you want to, you know, if you're striving for the election. But at the same time, man, this is a spiritual thing we're a part of, man. That's why we've been pushing prayer. That's why we've been pushing fasting, applying these scriptures. You know, because that cuts through. That's like the code. That's the code breaker that breaks the matrix, man. That's the only thing that really works. Mm-hmm. You said Psalm 44. Could you go to where it says, "I will not trust in my sword"? It says, yeah, that's cool.
This is Psalms chapter 44 and verse 6.
Yep.
"For I will not trust in my bow,
Right.
neither shall my sword save me."
Right, I won't trust in my bow, neither will my sword save me. Your AK not gonna save you, your Draco not gonna save you, right? You got a fucking bulletproof fucking Escalade.
No, but there's
Right.
no such thing as bulletproof. That's just a marketing term. Nothing's impervious to bullets. Enough, but I mean, you know, like this ain't no fucking 007 movie. James Bond, remember when he was sitting in the Aston Martin with that bitch looking at her in her eyes? In the beginning of the movie, I don't know which one. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta go back.
It's like the most recent or the second to last, most recent one. It was a cold ass movie, but you know, he was like, yeah, you must have betrayed me, huh? And they was sitting there lighting the car up. I'm talking about, like, nigga walking up to the car, like, point blank range, blasting the window. And he looking at her like, you ratted me out. But the whole time they lighting the car up, and you looking like, damn, man, they didn't get to the car yet. That shit's in the movies, man. You're just not impervious to bullets. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you like, you know, eventually, you know, you throw enough. Oh, look at how the walls of Constantinople got taken out. That was known as the most impossible city to break into, Constantinople, because they had.
If I'm not mistaken, it was surrounded by water, right?
Well, it was, but on the side that wasn't surrounded by water, you had a world class, not bridge, but a wall. But it was layers of walls, so it was meters thick, and it was multiple of them. They literally had to invent a new weapon just to break through it. Cannonball. That's when the cannonball got invented. You know what I'm saying? Like a cannon. You know what I mean? And they got and they was able to break. So nothing's, you know, impervious to attacks. You may have resistance, but ultimately, eventually, it's going to get broken down. You know, that's what Jake think, that this place is invincible. Same thing about Rome. But I don't want to get, you know.
Nah, that's the spirit, bro. Because really, this place has already been penetrated.
Yeah.
You know, we know that actual, you know, foreign troops are going to make themselves known, right? We already know that. But really, this place has already been invaded. The people are already here. The foreigners are here.
Yeah.
Right. The infrastructure has been compromised. Jake, forget about the railroad. Right. The railroad situation about a year and a half ago, where various key points.
Yeah.
Right. Were blown up.
Yeah.
Had the Chinese spy balloon situation. So this place has already been mapped out. It's been spied out.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting, man.
Yeah.
So things are about to get very interesting. You know.
We'll go ahead and close out.
Can we read it one more time?
Yeah.
We'll close out.
This is Psalms chapter 44 and verse 6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. Verse 7, but thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated
It
us.
says, but thou hast saved us from our enemies. Right? And that thou that, you know, David is speaking about is our Lord and Savior, man. The Most High, right? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. All right? Yahweh Shai being his whole reason for being created was to deliver you, was to save you. You know? So that's what we're trusting on, and we don't have any doubt, man. We're confident. Scriptures are undefeated. Yahweh Shai is undefeated, man. You know, so if y'all didn't have anything, you know, Lord's willing, the side camp was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Akakwadash.
double honors again to the elders and apostles that taught us this truth. And shalom to the next lesson.
Shalom.